very beautiful morning to you. You're welcome to Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Manuel. Very happy to be back here to bring you up to speed with the latest revolving around the beautiful world of sports. On our menu this morning, former champion headline boxing clash in Lagos, and coming in from athletics, marathon record holder get 3-year ban. And in football, Crystal Palace suffers setback in UEFA Conference League. These and many more will be yours after the short time. Thrilled is an understatement. Yeah, welcome back. Steve Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network, and of course, we're very much ready to bring you up to speed with the latest revolving around the beautiful water sport this morning. Joining me to do justice on the show is Rex Tepele. Good morning to you, Rex, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Kingsley. It's always a pleasure being on the show.
All right, let's take a look at some interesting issues coming from sports as Nigeria's Green Falcons have moved within touching distance of a historic World Cup qualification after thrashing Ireland 10-0 in their opening game of the IRO Women's World Series at Terry Foss Stadium. The Nigerian side dominated from the outset, taking a 4-0 lead at halftime after Prof. Fedolia powered over the line in the 14 minutes. The victory was sealed late in the second half when second row Jao Lila scooped up a loose ball and sprinted 85 meters to score 11 minutes before full time. Head coach Bulu Faburon praised his team's resilience and defensive grit, particularly after Nigeria were forced to play short-handed while Nshodo Ahobo served time in the scene being across half-time. With the victory, Nigeria advanced to Sunday's final of the inaugural Women's World Series at Terry Foss Stadium, where they will face the winner of Canada-Fiji match. The winner will claim the 8th and final spot at the 2026 Rugby League World Cup in Australia and Papua New Guinea. Not a very popular sport here in Nigeria, talking about rugby, Rex, but of course we'll still see our team trying to put up some high level of performance in this particular one.
Yeah, of course, it's a good one for Nigeria, putting up that impressive performance. Even though, like you said, rugby is not the most popular sport, it hasn't gained much traction. Though the sport has been in ages, shaped and modeled since over 1960 or so. I think the sport is being played by 11 players and all. I'm sorry, 15 players, and it's a good thing that. We are fighting to book a place at the Rugby World Cup, and let's see how it goes in the next game.
Let's see how it goes in the next game, and we'll look forward to see the Nigerian rugby team, of course, putting up some high level of performance. Away from that, former world champion Lawrence Okoli is set to headline one of the biggest boxing nights ever staged in West Africa as Chaos in the Ring 2 takes center stage at the Mobalaji Johnson Arena, Lagos, on December 19th. Building on the success of the October 1st edition, organizer says the show marks a milestone for African boxing, showcasing world-class talent and Nigeria's growing influence in the sports. Okoli, of course, who was born in London to Nigerian parents, will be fighting professionally on African soil for the first time. The 33-year-old captured the WBO cruiserweight title in 2021 with a 6-round knockout of Castor Klowacki. Successfully defended it and later claimed the WBC Bridgerweight title. Now ranked number one heavyweight contender by the WBC, Okoli has his sights set on becoming a 3-division world champion. Also featuring on the card is Emmanuel Odasi, the fast-rising heavyweight signed to Anthony Joshua's 258 management. Returning to the same Lagos venue where he recovered a first-round knockout earlier this year, Adasi will look to extend his unbeaten streak to 10 fights. Away from that, let's talk UFC. As former 2-time UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya has fallen out of the top 5 rankings following the latest updates released by the Ultimate Fighting Championship 2 days after UFC Volkovoa. The Nigerian New Zealander, who previously held the number 5 spot, dropped to number 6 after Brendan Allen climbed 4 places to 5th following his victory over Renel D. Rada at the Volkovo events. The update faced a brief delay due to an AW outage that disrupted multiple platforms. Allen's ascent came after he forced the Rada's corner to stop their bout ahead of round 5, sending ripples through the middleweight division. The Rada subsequently dropped to number 8, while former champion Robert Whittaker fell to number 9, and Jad Conenel climbed back to number 10. The ranking drops the ranking drop marks another difficult moment for Adesanya, who around the same time last year was also removed from the UFC pound-for-pound rankings following his loss to Deco Duplessis and replaced by Aljamain Sterling. Rex, what could be the reason for this setback, for Israel Adesanya, no longer in the top 5 in the UFC rankings?
Well, rankings are good, when because it shows your performance at every given point in time. And from the recent ranking, it shows that Adesanya has not been at his best in recent times, and knowing that he lost his last game.
In fact, he has not been active for almost 2 years now.
Yeah. So it shows that he has not been active, and he has not been at his best. And there are other coming boxers, heavyweight champions, who are also pulling the strings at the moment. And I think it's a clarion call for him to get back to winning ways and see how far he can also get back his spots in the top rankings.
A lot of expectation from Israel Adesanya. Can he get back to winning ways and, of course, reclaim his sport? We'll keep our fingers crossed on that. Away from that, women's marathon world record holder Ruth Chepketik has been banned for 3 years after the Kenyan admitted to anti-doping rule violations. Chepketik was provisionally suspended in July following a positive test for hydrochlorothiazide, a banned diuretic used commonly as maxing agent, on the 14th of March. She achieved her achievement, which predates that sample, including her world record time of 2 hours, 9 minutes and 56 seconds in Chicago in October 2024, will still, stand. Rex, this is a very disappointing one. After putting up some high level of performance in some tournaments, it came out that, she actually used a prohibited substance to enhance her performance. What do you make of it? She's a Kenyan. Of course, sometimes when we see this Kenyan, come up and put up, some high level of performance, running long distance, and all of that, we say, we envy them, all right, but we don't know. There are some things that might be behind us this time, but very disappointing, you see.
Very disappointing, knowing that he's coming from, even though he's not from Nigeria, but he's one of our own, Africa. Once we get involved in most of this anti-doping stuff, it shows that the sport is no longer fair, it's no longer credible, and it also creates a bad image for Africa, as a continent. So I think it's not a good one. But going forward, we also saw that she admitted that she was part of the doping activity and all that. So it shows that when things go wrong, you have to take responsibility. And she has taken responsibility for her action. And that is why her ban that was supposed to go for 4 years was also reduced. So I think that it's another way to show that she's remorseful. And let's see what the future holds for her after the ban.
All right, let's see how it goes at this point in time. Of course, she admitted, just like you heard from Rest, and that's why the ban was reduced. However, the Analytic Integrity Unit will continue to investigate evidence from her phone, which it's found indicates a reasonable suspicion that her positive test may have been intentional, including messages dating back to 2022. All right, away from that, let's talk tennis. This morning, a new ATP Masters 1000 tournament will be added to the tennis calendar from 2028 and staged in Saudi Arabia. A 56-man field will contest a one-week event, most likely in February, in another sign of the increasing polling power of the Gulf states. Saudi Arabia already hosts the WTA finals and next-gen ATP finals, and its Public Investment Fund is the official naming partner of both the ATP and WTA rankings. However, with players expressing so much concern about the length of the season and the numbers of events they play, the new tournament will not be mandatory. And this is the first time the Masters 1000 category has been expanded since the birth of the concept in 1990. The Saudi Arabia event will join existing 1000 tournaments in Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, Madrid, Rome, Canada, which is rotated between Toronto and Montreal, Cincinnati, Shanghai, and Paris as well. So Saudi Arabia will be hosting a 1000 tennis tournament. What do you make of it? They're really, investing in sports. They've hosted the WTA finals before, and now there's a new tournament now they want to introduce in Saudi, Arabia. What do you make of Saudi Arabia when it has to do with, sports, development, in the past 3 or 4 years now?
A good one. They are developing so fast. Let's also look from the angle of football also. They are one of the countries so far that are paying most of the players a huge amount of money. So it shows that the country is developing very fast in terms of sports. And they're about hosting another major one, which is the 1,000 tournament for both ATP and WTA. Even though some of the players may likely back out, because of the scheduled football, schedule, what do they call it, a fixture. Yeah. Fixture for the year. The same thing is also applicable to football. When people were complaining of the other league that was being played recently, some clubs were aiming to back out. So I think that is also a good one for them. If they do that, they also create a lot of opportunity for them to grow also in that area of sports.
All right, let's see how it goes. Saudi Arabia take it over at this point in time. Someone told me that in the next 10 years, 10 years to say, that Saudi Arabia will be the hub of sports, in the world.
It's very, very likely to be, and I don't see them dropping like what happened in China. I beg your pardon. I don't like what happened in China. When at the point China we are heavily investing in sports, signing most of the big players, the Oscar and the rest of them. But at the time, they got a decline after the coronavirus pandemic. But Saudi Arabia, they've been consistent. It's in fact most of the contracts renewal you can see from, let's say, Cristiano Ronaldo, the players that are going there from Europe, is always increasing. So they are not even showing any sign of decline. And now they are going also to other sports like tennis and so on. So I think that Saudi Arabia is a country that is really, really investing in sports, and I'm sure it's going to pay them off in the long run.
All right, let's see how this one, of course, will go down. We hope for the best, of course, for Saudi Arabia, as well as this particular tournament, as it stands now. Benue State Governor Yan Sint Alia has dissolved the board and management of the state-owned Lobby Stars FC for Makurdi. Lobby Stars FC were relegated last season after a 27-year stay in the Nigerian Premier Football League following a run of poor performances. The chief press secretary to the governors, Toso Kula, announced the governor's approval of the dissolution in a statement issued on Thursday yesterday and made available to journalists in Makurdi. The move was described as part of ongoing reforms to reposition the club for greater efficiency, accountability, and better performance in the Nigerian Premier Football League and other competitions. Founded in 1981, Lobby Stars Football Club is one of Nigeria's long-standing professional football teams. The club, originally known as Hawks of Makurdi, was established by the Benue State Sports Council and has since grown to become a key name in Nigeria football. So, Rebel Stars, Lobby Stars, trying to see how they can, of course, put things right this time around. Talking about Lobby Stars, do you think, they have what it takes, to bounce back, looking at the fact that the governor has dissolved the current board, maybe to bring another, structure to see how to run the team? They were relegated, last season, and there was a whole lot of issue. We hear some of their players, where they actually engage, in betting, and that's why, of course, when they go into the pitch, they don't put in their best, knowing that, of course, there is something at stake, somewhere for them. But now, the board has been dissolved. Do you see Lobby Stars getting back their mojo?
Well, let's see how it goes for them, because when a team is doing so poorly on and off the pitch, it takes a lot of effort by people who are in charge, those in the helm of affair, to do some reconstructing, to make sure that all hands are on deck to get them back to winning ways. But like we know, the relegation field, which is the NNL, is not a playing field. Other clubs are also aiming to gain a promotion. And we know that it's about, I think, 3 or 4 clubs coming down from the NNL League to the Nigerian NPFL. So I think that it's going to be difficult, but let's just wish them well as they've started their reconstructing process.
All right, so away from that, the Confederation of African Football CAF has appointed Ivorian referee Kwasi Frederick Fasibiru to officiate the Champions League second preliminary round, second leg match between Rivers United and Black Bulls of Mozambique. The match is scheduled for Saturday, October 25th at the Goslar Pavi International Stadium in Uyo. Kickoff time, of course, is 4 p.m. And Biro will be assisted by fellow Ivorian official Prosper Odwoman and Eba Madad. Of course, they will be in charge of that particular one, as a stand. Let's take a look at it. Rivers United, they couldn't get all 3 points when they went down to Mozambique, last week. But this time, they'll be playing at the Goslar Pabi International Stadium. Do you see them overturning the results and getting a win at home?
Sure. 1-0 loss or deficit is nothing compared to what Rivers United can offer at home. Just that we are sad that they are not playing in Port Harcourt, where you have a lot of fan base support from Port Harcourt base.
Yeah.
But let's just hope that they do the turnaround, and I'm surely confident that they can do it at Akwa Ibom State also.
All right, let's see how it goes. Rivers United are looking forward to get things done, because if we take a look at it, Rex, if it doesn't go well for Rivers United, it means no Nigerian team will be playing in the continent, going forward, as it stands, because Remo Stars, we don't know if they will survive against Mamelodi Sundowns. In fact, talking about Remo Stars,
they will not survive. It's not as if they will survive.
Talking about Remo Stars, their preparation for the CAF Champions League, we hear that their visas, of course, were delayed. They couldn't, they were not given visa, of course, in time to travel to South Africa. They wanted to leave the country, I think that yesterday, but they had visa delay, and as it stands now, we don't know if they have left, to South Africa. They wanted to go in time so that they can prepare and get a sense feel and see if they can overturn their results, as it stands. But they had a little bit of setback. But I don't know what you make of it. Remo Stars, do they have what it takes to overturn that result?
Honestly, I'm not talking from a patriotic perspective right now. I'm talking from a real football sense. How do you think Remo Stars will overturn is it a 4-1 or a 5-1 deficit at home? You lost at home 5-1, and you want to do a match? It's suicidal. It's suicidal. It's not possible. So
you don't think they can score 3 goals in the first half and then see how to get the job done in the second half?
It's suicidal. It's a suicidal mission. Yes. So and for a team like Mamelodi Sundowns, you're not even playing a low-ranked team. So even before the first leg, I said I don't see them surviving against Mamelodi Sundowns on both legs. But they messed up in the first game. The first game, they would have carved out a good result, maybe by winning 2-1, 1-0, 2-0. That would have boosted their confidence, maybe going, because when you win, it gives you another level of confidence to make sure that you finish the task ahead. But I think they've not done justice to what they should have done. And going forward, I don't see them qualifying.
All right, so I understand that the Super Falcons have intensified training at the Agbo-Drafo Academy in Lome ahead of today's Women's African Cup of Nations qualifying first leg clash against Benin Republic. The camp now has 19 players following the arrival of 5 more stars who came in on Tuesday, with team captain Rashida Ajibade joining the squad alongside Mexico-based duo defender of Osinachi Ohale and striker Chiwendu Hiozu. US-based stars Micha Alozi and Deborah Abiodun, as well as Canada-based forward Esther Okoronkwo, also linked up with the team as well. So out of 21 players called up by coach Justin Madugo, only midfielder Rachel Ona Chukwu is yet to arrive in camp, while midfielder Jennifer Echejine has been ruled out through injury. The 19 players currently in camp are Asida Oshola, Taiwo Afolabi, Fola Shode, Miracle Sani, Joy Omewo, Anderlin Mbechi, Blessing Lee Veda, and Kafayat. Mayor Fisire, Chiamaka Nadozie, Christy Uchebe, Tosin Dami, and Ashley Prompte, Shakarut Aladipo, Hiozo, Ohale, Alozie, Esther Koronko Abiodun, and Ajibade. The tie will determine which team secures the place at the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco, a tournament that also serves as African qualifying event for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil. This shouldn't be a very tough one for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. They should be able to beat, Benin girls.
They should be able to beat them, like you rightly said, but no team is small nowadays in football. So I think they have to give it their best shot, not going there to underrate the female side of Benin Republic. And if they do so, and despite the injury from Jennifer, I think we have enough backup to make sure that we defeat Benin to qualify for the competition.
All right, we'll take a break now. When we return from this break, we'll bring you other issues that are revolving around the beautiful world of sports. Stay with us, right back. Yeah, welcome back, Steve Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network, and of course, we'll bring you the latest revolving around the beautiful world of sports. And still talking football on the show this morning. Nigeria international Bright Osai Samuel has received a one-match suspension from the English Football Association after accumulating five yellow cards this season. The right back was booked during his club 1-0 victory over Preston North, and on Tuesday night, triggering an automatic ban under FA disciplinary rules, as reported by the EFL official website. The caution came just 12 minutes into the match for a foul on Preston striker Daniel Gilbertson. His previous yellow card this season came in matches against Ipswich Town, Blackburn Rovers, Stoke City, and Swansea City. The defender joined the championship side on a free transfer during the summer transfer window after failing to agree to a new contract with Fenerbahce. He has gone on to be a regular setter for the championship side with 9 appearances this season. Away from that, let's take a look at other interesting issues coming from sports this morning, as Rafa Benitez is set to return to management at Panathinaikos, where he will become the highest paid coach ever in Greece. The former Real Madrid and Liverpool manager has been out of work for over a year after he was fired at Celta Vigo in March. Benitez will sign a 2-year deal with Panathinaikos, who currently sits 7th in the league, having picked up 9 points from 6 matches. It leaves them 8 points behind leaders Paul, although they have a game in hand. Benitez rex to return to coaching. You see him, of course, putting up some high level of impressive performance after not, of course, getting it right. Who understand? I think his days at Liverpool. I think it was supposed to him at Everton or something as well. Now to Greece. You think he's going to excel down there? Well,
I'm not really a fan of Rafa Benitez. I know if or his philosophy. I know him very well. During his bright career with Liverpool, he did very well with Liverpool, winning the Champions League. I think Steven Gerrard was the main man then, in his team. We had the likes of Luis Garcia, Milan Baros, and Anseni Mapungu, and the rest of them. And they were able to overturn a 3-0 deficit against AC Milan. That was the historic moment for him. But since then, I think he has lost his guard. At a point, he went to Real Madrid, almost destroyed the whole setup in Real Madrid. Real Madrid underperformed. He also went to Everton. He didn't do very well. So I'm not really a fan of his. So, but going to Greece, Panathinaikos, Greece is not much of a highly rated league.
But a big money awaits him as well.
A big money, fine, big money. Coaches go for where the money is, knowing that a coach of his caliber that had won the Champions League before. Also, so they go for big money, and it's good for him because you're being paid so well. But looking at what you can bring to the table, I don't see much of him at the moment, knowing that he's also aging. But let's see what he can offer, because Greece is not much of a rated league compared to the EPL, compared to the Spanish league, compared to the Italian league, and he might just go there and do some wonders. But let's not forget, same thing with Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
We were thinking he will go to Fenerbahce, to the Turkish league, to do well. But he went there, he didn't do well. We saw Galatasaray winning the league back-to-back again. So, but let's just wish him.
Are they now in the same class? Benitez and Mourinho?
I see them being in the same class, because I've taken time to study their progression and everything. I see that they are just going down the decline. And I feel like their coaching they're just using the past glory to do the coaching jobs at the moment.
Can we say, is it the fact that they don't want to upgrade their coaching skill, or maybe they just feel very comfortable in what they know? It
could be lots of philosophy and lots of ideas, because people like the Pep Guardiolas and they tend to go for fresher courses to refresh to get more ideas, and also sometimes you also go for sabbatical, to take a break from the system. When you see that the system is pushing you hard, you just have to take a break.
Yeah, true.
To refresh yourself, and And over the time, yes, we've not seen Jose Mourinho doing that. Rafa Benitez has taken a break, but he took a break after he was sacked. You know, so I don't really see that as a break. Taking a break, it has to be a cautious decision by yourself to reflect on your position. Are you doing well? Are you not doing well? What you need to do better? You know, and let's just hope that he get the best out from Panathinaikos.
I mean, of course, these coaches really have to upgrade, because when you see young coaches this day doing so well, you take a look at Fabregas in Como. You know, what's his name? Arteta as well. You know, at Arsenal. You know. You want to say
it's Xavi Alonso.
Xavi Alonso as well. If they don't upgrade, definitely will become difficult. Vincent Kompany is at Bayern Munich, putting up you know, an incredible job down there. So it means the likes of Mourinho, Benitez really have to upgrade, or else.
Football is evolving so fast. You don't play the way you played in 1985 or the way you play in 1990. You're still bringing that kind of football philosophy to the current evolution. I don't think it works that way. Football has to be modern. Even the tiki-taka that was being brought by Johan Cruyff, and the likes of what's that his name again? A legend, I've forgotten his name. Guardiola modified it.
Yeah.
Sometimes he plays three at the back, you know, to make sure that they press so well and they also get a good result.
Away from that, Lionel Messi has agreed a contract extension with Inter Miami, which will see the Argentine superstar remain in Major League Soccer until the end of 2028 season. The club confirmed yesterday, Inter Miami's ex-feed posted a video of Messi signing a contract sitting at a table in the middle of the club's new Freedom Park stadium, which is under construction. A new deal had been viewed as a formality after club sources told newsmen last month that the franchise had reached an agreement on an extension. Messi's contract ensures he will remain in competitive action until and long after the 2026 World Cup hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The tournament gets underway on June 11 with the finals to be played on the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey on July 19. Messi moved to Inter Miami in 2023 after an unhappy spell at Paris Saint-Germain, but the bulk of his stellar career was spent at Barcelona, where he played from 2004 to 2021 after coming through the youth system at the Spanish Giants. So Messi has extended his contract. He will stay at Miami till 2028. So what do you make of it? It seems as if the man is going to retire down there.
Well, I don't want to use the slogan. They say what Messi cannot do does not exist. You know, Messi is incredible. This is a player who has brought so much to football. In fact, to me, I see him as the greatest player of all time. Let's leave the likes of Diego Maradona, the likes of Pele, you know, the likes of Di Stefano of Real Madrid. Let's leave those. Messi, to me, is the greatest player of all time, and I'll prove it over and over again. This is a player who has won more Ballon d'Ors than the rest of them. This is a player who has won more trophies than the rest of them. He has also won the World Cup, which people were even using to mock him or to shade him. So I think that extending his contract in USA, you know, is a good one for the league, knowing that the World Cup is around the corner. So it's going to make sure that the league gets more visibility, and knowing that keeping a player like Messi is very, very crucial for them at this point in time.
All right, let's bring you some results. You know, we saw yesterday. Brand, of course, they beat Rangers 3-0. Salzburg lost to Ferencváros 3-2. FCSB, they lost to Bologna by 2-1. Fenerbahce beat Stuttgart by 1-0. Genk played goalless against Real Betis. Go ahead, Eagles. They actually beat Aston Villa 2-1. A surprising results. Rex, Aston Villa were beaten 2-1. I think that was Go Ahead Eagles' first win, you know, in the competition. They were so happy, you know, for that victory. In fact, the celebration was so high that, you know, the fans, the players have to hug themselves, you know, after that win against Aston Villa. Incredible
results for the pundits and those who do a lot of forecasting, and so it's an incredible result. Last night in the Europa and the Conference League, we saw some upset. And those results is proving that there is no small club again in Europe, and the clubs are coming of age. But let's just not also forget that the competition is just starting, and a time will come when the big boys will also have to fizzle the small teams out.
Lyon, of course, they beat Basel 2-0. Braga beat Vesda by 2-0. Roma, AS Roma, they lost to Victoria Present 2-1. And Celta Vigo beat Nice by 2-1. Celtic beat Stormgrass by 2-1. Feyenoord beat Panathinaikos by 3-1. Freiburg beat Oosterwolde by 2-0. And Leo lost to Polk FC by 4-3. Maccabi Tel Aviv, they lost to Midtjylland of 3-0. And Malmo played 1-1 draw against Dynamo Zagreb. Nottingham Forest, they got their first win after a very long time, against FC Porto. 2-0. It ended in that particular one. What do you make of that victory? Could it be as a result of the new manager, Sandijk, who came into the side?
Sure. When you have a new manager and there's a fresh breath, and this is a manager who has been doing so well with Burnley. He has also understood the league, the English Premier League. So I think it's a fresh breath at the moment for Nottingham Forest, and I just hope they can carry out that impressive performance against Porto, knowing that Porto have not lost, I think, a single game this season. So they are the first to defeat Porto. So that win alone will also boost their morale, and let's just hope they carry that form into the EPL.
Let's see how it goes at this point in time for Nottingham Forest. But of course, no, Rex, the problem there at Nottingham Forest has always been, of course, the owner of the side. He has always been interfering in the job, of the coaches, and of course, who've seen manage the side, as a stand. Do you think is Sandijk, he's going to give Sandijk that free environment, to work?
Coaches like to approach freely without interference from.
Because Ange Postecoglou said when he left that no manager will want to work with him because of how he interfered on the job of the managers, that have been there, as a stand. So I don't know what you make of it. His relationship with Sandijk, do you think to be a smooth one?
Well, what we can't tell is the future. We don't know what the future holds, but. Like you rightly said, no coach will want to work with a manager who interferes with the team, or off and on. Your interference could be a sort of encouragement, not interference that has to do with team selection or tactics. It is the job of the coach to do that. For instance, Florentino Perez will not interfere with any coach in Madrid, but he can play a role by offering advice, as someone who has been there for so long and all that. So I think that is left for the future to determine that if he's going to interfere with what Sandijk does. But as it stands now, he has gotten his first win, and his first win is against a big club like FC Porto, who has been unbeaten this season. So let's just hope that they carry that form for the rest of the season.
Crystal Palace lost to Larnaca in the Conference League. It ended 1-0 in favor of Larnaca. What do you make of it? Setback for Crystal Palace?
Setback for Crystal Palace, but let's not also forget that AK Larnaca, they are not a small side, because they defeated AZ Alkmaar 4-0 in the first game. A lot of people see teams and they point this, they just underrate them. They won and AZ Alkmaar in the first game 4-0. So I was shocked. And they've carried that form to Crystal Palace, winning them by a long goal. So I think that they are proving that they are also a good side to challenge also in the Conference League also.
All right, we'll see how this one, of course, will go down. We'll just have to bring you that result, from the Conference League, because it was a very huge shock to so many football fans. Crystal Palace losing down there to Larnaca. But away from that, let's bring you some Premier League fixtures today as. Leeds United will lock horns against West Ham United today. In the Spanish La Liga, we'll see Real Sociedad against Sevilla. And there's a game in the German Bundesliga where Werder Bremen will lock horns against Union Berlin. And in the Italian Serie A, we'll see AC Milan against Pisa. In the French Ligue 1, there's going to be Paris FC against Nantes. Those are the fixtures to be expecting tonight. All right, at this point, to call it a wrap, special thanks to Rex for doing justice on the show. We'll be back by 6 p.m. on the Sport Extraordinary to take a look at some of the weekend fixtures. Club football, of course, will be back this weekend, and we'll take a look at some of the exciting fixtures when we make a return by 6 p.m. on Sport Extraordinary. You can go down to our different social media handle: Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. The conversation continues right there. My name is Kingsley Manuel. Thanks for watching.